2024. Yo, unyaka uyaphela. Unyaka ne.
It's 50 days.
Yeah.
25, so.
Yeah, so to the 31st and the 1st of 2025, and I hope everybody la pohleli khona zonke izinto ukuthi bozibhalile last year ukuthi uzifuna this year uzenzile
Umekana mawani.
I open the gun this year
But it is next year.
But because it's not that time.
Yeah. It's not that time. It's not your time.
I'm kidding. But anyway, thank you so much. It's a freaking Friday. It's the time of the Friday where we have a special guest. But however, you know, every Friday we do have a special guest. Azochila nathi sixoxe sihleke sikhale asikafiki lapho though kulaba bakhalayo but sizofika unless them right. Yeah, but however, I'm not flying solo. I'm flying with my handsome and beautiful guest and co-host and but anyway, I'll allow them to introduce themselves, and then sizongena edabeni. Namhlanje I'm wearing socks with fire because the show is on fire. But anyway, you could go over to you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Cde Sebenzile Mkhonto. I am a host, and I am having a very good Friday today. I hope you guys are nice and warm, and we're going to have a very, very interesting show today. So I'm looking forward to that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nehemiah Muchela. I'm hosting the Groundbreakers, and today we have a fire topics for you. You can find us on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube also at 1912 online, on all social media platforms. Today we have a very bold special guest.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a fire show lined up for you. Ushilo se screen athi ugqoke ama-socks anomlilo.
Lala omlilo. Awemfinazi. Mara umlilo we-1912. But anyway, thank you so much, Sebe, for joining us. Sebenzile Mkhonto. Mkhonto mampela. Hey.
Clarify for us.
Let us clarify.
Who are you?
Mkhonto mampela isingo alina wa ndotse dinchi. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I mean, Sebe is not a stranger to the shows. She's been here before, but today she's going to be flying with us throughout the show. She's ngicabanga umuntu othatha ijob ayizisebenzile. This is so nice. Yeah, usebenzile. Yes. And okumnandi ukuthi yabona izinto the way izinto ziimplementeka ngakhona. You can take your work to everywhere you are going. Unobona umuntu akhiphile ethephethe ekusini asathi hey lona uyasebenza umntwana. But anyway, who is Sebenzile Mkhonto? She's living in many different structures.
Oh my gosh.
But just give us a brief of who Sebe is.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to all the co-hosts and for the show, for the invite, for the fourth invite.
Yeah.
For the fourth invite.
Yeah.
I still remember irregardless of Mkhonto means.
Yeah.
One of the most funniest things is that out of the longest time in my life, being married, nobody knows the same name of where I was married from because I never appreciated using any other surname except being Sebenzile Mkhonto. Till this day, I remember when I was studying something and they called me one of the Home Affairs I would never have other people say names written in it In my family, that doesn't count. Not somebody else. If I'm married, I should remain Sebenzile Mkhonto.
Nice one.
And I remember how I thought this is like, why did you get married if you don't? I don't want your same name in any document. The only way that document existed, Queen, was in my ID.
Yeah.
And Mkhonto, when it was relevant to me to use it.
Yeah. I changed it.
So, Mkhonto wangempela, not
I know what it's saying.
And and sometimes when they call me, they're like, "Guaz, I'm calling you. Wait. He's not associating you. You're not associating you." So thank you so much for the invite. I didn't want to introduce myself with all the titles. The level of greed. I will just take it as I am a very strong and young, powerful woman, and I love it for myself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyway, we see, and we know we didn't put it on the poster, but however, it's something that everybody's talking about. Food poisoning. It's how I didn't even have breakfast this morning. The way young children are dying. I also saw there's a mother also that is in hospital with abantwana bakhe because they ate something from the store. We thought it's only targeted at kids, but now it looks like it's something Kuku, I think will break the ice and tell us about a story that's currently trending. The 10-year-old that died.
All right, so I'm just gonna go through this one. It's one of many, by the way.
Yes,
so
one of
many, quite disturbing. So this one is from the Citizen. We have to credit the source before they say arresting. So
Yes,
10-year-old girl dies from suspected food poisoning. The Gauteng Department of Health said they are being treated for a suspected. The Gauteng Health Department spokesperson Matalatale Ndiba said that the girl passed away after being rushed to emergency unit of the Alexandra Community Healthcare on Saturday night. And he added that the mother and the young boy are in a stable condition. And then a further read, the Gauteng Department appealed to the community in Alexandra not to seek justice for the girl's death. We appeal to the public not to take the law into their own hands, but rather to notify relevant authorities where they pick up non-compliance issues, and that's what the department has said. Mudiba also said the department is still waiting for reports on the cause of the sudden death and illness. And furthermore, it says that the government is concerned about the rising incidence of food-borne illnesses, particularly those that affect children. The department is working closely with multiple stakeholders and the municipalities to heighten awareness in townships, informal settlements, hostels, and communities. End of article.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm reading the same thing every time. It's not the first time. It's almost like a PR. We've read this before. It's a different location. It's a different family on the same stories. But now, I love the direction that the communities are now having regarding the food poisoning. Again, we were saying boycott the stores.
Yes.
But they're saying before we just boycott the stores, let's find out who are the suppliers. Because you can shut down these stores, but what if the supplier is going to be selling to a Mtrengu? It's going to be selling to a Mkhonto family that has a tuck shop. So who is producing those goods? If they're producing the other shops, then of course, we close them down. But sometimes we see those trucks. They come and deliver the cold drinks, deliver the snacks. So we need to know who the supplier is first. That's me. I stand behind that notion to find out who is the supplier of these. But it seems like it's junk. The biscuit, the stock sweets, most of them.
I also saw go one of the townships. Parents were outside, but from a lady that sells. And unfortunately, 29 children had to be hospitalized. So it's alarming that children in school, and I remember sometimes you give your children money to buy school because our children sometimes would be like, now I can't have tea and and somehow you try to teach your child some responsibility, especially around money, and then boom, your child will turn a phone call with your child has been admitted in the hospital.
I liked what Gugu said, but we should find out who are buyers. Because I could be umama kabungani ongena esikolweni eKhayelitsha primary school, and then I'm a parent in that school. I'm selling kuleso skolo, but my supplier nabo, it's the very same people abasedokshini corner to corner who are owning the shops, because they have wholesalers. Bayafika with big trucks, but let's say snacks and biscuits there, and the bread also. ayisazi ne-truck e-Albany ne-truck eSasco iza ngalesi truck emhlophe outside asazi ukuthi isaplowa ubani. So we should, as citizens, as leadership in our townships, we should gather, organize ourselves and find out the suppliers, because like she said, you might find ukuthi the suppliers are the wrong ones. We open a shop eyakwamthembu, but then umamthembu is still supplied by these people. We open a shop eyakwamkhonto eDipsloti, but still it's the suppliers, ababa suppliers, there's people who are owning the shop corner to corner at the moment. Let's look at the root of the problem, and then we fix this problem as causing young people, abantwana abancane, and it's very bad.
So you see where we are seated, it means we're actually looking for the manufacturer. Because there's a huge store without naming names, that supplies goods that it's cheaper for you to buy in packs. For Usis Lindiwe, who sits in a corner and sells a stock suite. I'll typically mention one in Lens, where we all know they go there to stock, right? For that lady, that is their supplier, right? But who is the manufacturer of this product?
Because if it go DB,
they really packaged, they brought it in. Who manufactured this product? Let's go from, because the poison in one article, they said there was a poison, I can't remember the name they mentioned in the article, that states the type of poison they found in one of these foods. Yeah. It's not poison that you can sprinkle. It's something that was contaminated during the process of making a candy. Right? So meaning we can shut down the stores all we want. But my friend, we refer them to my friend. Yeah. But the manufacturer still continues to supply other people. Mthembu person is going to continue with the store. Because remember, the shops are not only Google, my friend. As much as we have tried by all means to boycott stores and spaza shops in our schools, because we saw where it comes from. I know we are not even at 50% winning in terms of closing down the issue of having stores in the schools. Yes. But I want to my friend. Sizovalwa ka my friend aqhubeke ulindiwe, and ulindiwe my intentions wakhe it's not to poison kids. My intentions wakhe is to make an honest living. Athengisa estradeni, athengisa amazimba. Amazimba inkinga yawo from the manufacturer elaphayana a nice field that is not investigated, that does not have a health inspector who visits there regularly. And any again in South Africa, guys, you know, we can debate the whole thing. I always say, as much as the country is in a disastrous state, 95% of our problems are caused by ourselves. Leave the leadership of the country. Because I will ask a simple question. Oba, or question to my friend. I said to say that for you, my friend. Yeah, if we as countries, as citizens in this country, did not want these people, how did we have my friend?
And then 5 of them in one street.
And when we fight to say, close this shop, Usbongile says, this is my rental money. And there's somebody who's sitting somewhere in Midrand and saying, no, the country is the country. You're not blaming the ANC, you're not blaming government. But you are not actually looking at the source. Because if all of us could be united and say, they were not going to exist amongst us, these people. Each and every problem is now. I can take it to the streets. My debate, I can hold it the whole day. Who bribes the police? If you're saying policemen are corrupt, who bribes them?
Yeah, because they get bribed by you.
I've been a driver for 15 years. I have never given a policeman even 20 rand. I always say, write the ticket. Because I don't want to pass. I'm not trying to be saying. You can go and check in the system. I know now I have one ticket that I must pay. I always pay my tickets. I do not prefer to bribe the police because you are participating in corrupting the system. We have systems in place as a country. There's a government official who is hired to investigate these manufacturers and check if they comply. But when they arrive in these manufacturers, believe you me not, they are taking money. Yeah. That's why we're having this situation currently right now. Yeah. This person prefers to be bribed with 50,000 rand in sacrifice of lives out there. That is an honest truth. I'm sorry to say, but that is an honest truth. And now today we're sitting here, clever blacks are now going to sit and blame the ANC and blame government. And I'm still saying, my boss hires me. You see where I am right now. I'm working for a company that is in the UK. The only interest is for me to deliver. They don't monitor how I'm delivering. They've hired me. I signed a contract. It's the same thing as the president. He deployed people to go and do their jobs. Now, how you then corrupt the system? As much as it might not be easy for him to see that Sebenzile is busy taking bribes, because it's not a matter of one day to realize. But it's also me who causes the problem. And tomorrow you, because you don't know I'm causing a problem, you are blaming the whole system.
Yes.
So now it can't react. It's at the verge. You collapse. It's not collapsed purely by the leadership at the national level. We are also willing participants of allowing it to happen the way it is currently happening.
I mean, even about my friend, how someone abafazi.
Yes, they are married.
How these people say what my family?
Yeah, understand.
I know, but however, maybe figure abantu abadinga usizo. Yeah, but abantu abanenkinga lapho babuya
Labaphuma khona.
How inkinga? Guys, inkinga uzucabanga netanzi.
And you know guys. Check majority of people who are normally complaining about government and systems in the country and ask them how many countries have you ever been outside South Africa? None.
Yeah.
If you can go to Botswana, immediately when you enter Botswana by the border and you are now stamped, the rules and regulations change.
Yeah.
Even how you walk is going to change.
The right
there's no enforcement. Rules are rules, and nobody they follow the rules by all means. You go to China. I saw on TikTok saying these here are not supposed to be enforced to anyone. Everything will rules. If the robots are all stopping for the robot, a simple rule.
Yeah.
But I can't rules are always bad. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a person in a foreign country. Even in that country, they are following the rules as they are. Tina, in our own country, we are bending the rules, we are breaking the rules, we are manipulating the system. At the end of the day, we are blaming government.
The same people that are breaking.
We are the ones who are sitting somewhere collapsing our own country. And we sit and we are blaming government. You know, for 3 years, I used public transport in the form of Uber. I remember we got stopped by police in this Uber car. It was odd for me. So Nyabuza, why the street search? Apparently this car is being followed and raided because of the Uber driver assist foreign nationals, without mentioning whichever foreign national, to transport drugs escorted by the police. Now there are 4 to 7 South Africans who are committing a crime, assisting one foreign national to collapse the whole entire country.
Imagine how
you are saying these drugs, when you fetch them from the airport, who is going to smoke them here when Obina brings them here in this country? Because Obina came to this country alone. Who is the consumer of these drugs? Your cousin. And you want to blame, you assisted Obina to bring these drugs here. You are hired, you're a policeman, you have a badge, you have taken an oath that you are going to protect us. But here you are providing an illegal service to a foreign national person to come to our country and commit a crime. And you're going to sit somewhere and you'd want to blame government. Like literally, okay.
Coming to think of it, there's a police officer that we used a while back. Ari Nakia Quita being a cop. And then we're like, why? Actually, he was saying Ustadisha social work. So that as soon as he graduates, we are resigning. And then we asked him why. He said there was a day where Nerita roadblock, and then Ratola, this foreign national, as we a lot of money come Putin and a lot of drugs, and then we arrested him. So whilst Ali Kamokoloing Yarona, he made one phone call, and the station commander released the person. If nakisanya kugoloba mushumo waka So for me was, imagine you are doing your job and then your senior tells you that you need to release a suspect before you lose your own job, and you are reminded of so one way or the other, how do we like
So you see, that's what I'm saying. 95% of our problems as a country, we as residents of South Africa, as South Africans, we have contributed to the problems more than the leadership in our country. Because the employees that are deployed by government, regardless of who the president is, that if you can check the train of corruption, where we are seated now, most of the people are unhappy with the current leadership because of there was a time whereby because of the depth of corruption was out of control to an extent whereby our very own employees were unhappy with it, and we are now having corruption. Contributing in collapsing this country, happy about it, so that we can wake up towards elections and say, no, the government of ANC is not doing anything. When you look who is the willing participant in now with this high volume of poisoning, you follow. Believe you me, if we can do a thorough investigation, you will find that a contribution of this problem comes 95% from us South Africans. Now I blame it to foreign nationals who are running spaza shops. To you, there's a factory that manufactures a keep. You know a process of a factory, and you know there are health inspectors that are visiting a factory each and every 3 months, each and every month, to check if processes are still done. You can go to a factory directed to 3 in Nicefield. When you enter Nicefield, you will firstly ask yourself, first question, are they producing food here? Because of the level of unhealthy and untidiness in that place. And you ask yourself, the health inspector, Ozala every month, you are reusing stuff, and you are not. No matter who health inspector goes in a back office somewhere where there's fancy furniture, I figure would discuss where and a bag of money aside, those people have a qualifying health certificate that says everything in that thing is in order. But when as a normal person, you can't find that in order. And now when you go to labor, now do a verification of everybody who works here. None of them are South Africans. There are 3 South Africans who came here to conduct a search, who are hired to do their job. Their jobs is to do all those things I just told you. But what they did was that they took money and they went home. And they gave a report, according to them, that everything in that factory that produces a makip, that the very same makip that is currently giving us problem with poison, but everything is well in that factory. Now, there is somebody else who is sitting somewhere, a clever black, who says, no, this country is Ramaphosa's problem that we have poisoning in this country. I'm not saying it's not, it's everybody else's problem, but I'm simply saying the root of our problems emanate from ground instead of from top. Now, when it's at the top, it's up to them to decide on how to handle the matter. But if Tina from ground, we were conducting ourselves accordingly, we were not going to get to this point. To be quite honest, there is no South African out of this country who has a full functioning business that manufactures, supplies, and also sells, just like these other foreign people that are operating in South Africa. For the fact that we even have sections where it's called China Mall, because of Chinese are dominating that area. There's a Nigeria village, because of Nigerians are dominating. In our own country, there are places where we can't go in. You can't go to Forsbeck, because there the Indians in Forsbeck are going to attack Njani in our own country. Yes, it is now a national issue. That national must come here and fix it. But the question starts from, how did they infiltrate? Aba, my friend, how did they infiltrate a shop as a location? Parity at Deep Sloot, it was all over South Africans. 6 to 10 years down the line, when the place is now fully functional, the domination of people who are there are foreign nationals who are running business. Now we will want to blame who are the consumers. We don't even need government, to be quite honest, to say shut down the stores. And it's better not. Close the stores. Tell my friend, no, my friend, your business is not assisting us as a community. You can leave. My friend. But 100% tomorrow, I can say, I can lead that tomorrow. This is my rental money.
actually, one of our young people from Alex, they were held hostage by foreign nationals and were taken to a police station by foreign nationals.
What?
Yeah. And when she told me this, I was like, Jani, like,
They have more rights than us.
I felt cold.
They have more rights than us in our own country.
And she says to me, I'm still dealing with the trauma. And I'm like, okay. And I remember 2018 when one of these people shot a guy in my hood, just a few houses from our house. What to Bulumfana? And then the whole of EY city came out. It was even spoken about in parliament, like Maswafu IFAS. When these people came out, they shot people in our hood to make us panic. But did they get arrested? We don't even know what happened. Instead, they were escorted outside the gas. When one of a guy that stays in YCC, because he was shot in the head, but he died.
You.
And now, obviously not.
Like you said, with permits and all these things.
Yeah, inking zethu ziningi. But let's hope we're going to find a solution towards this food poisoning, because it is said that I think around about 372 cases of food poisoning since January this year have been registered with the Department of Health, and 18 lives were claimed out of those food poisoning. So I'm hoping the national government, in terms of food, Department of Health and Social Development, they will come on and assist us in terms of protecting, because it's not the poison issue. It's not really about whether you're an adult, whether you're a child. Anybody could be affected. I mean, the whole entire month since it started to spread rapidly, it has always been kids who were victims, but now we have a mother who's in hospital fighting for her life. I saw a small an infant who and she's so it's affects each and every people. And remember, also supply, it doesn't only supply our friend. They have products as in now found in proper stores, like you can go to check us and find us, because it's not like it's dodgy products. What like registered times as Kinsley is a problematic drink if you drink it. So we need to the government needs to intervene and do a thorough investigation. Thorough investigation is manufacturers.
I think that education, because I saw there's a trending post, Coke, where Barry, my friend, it's like a 6 Bani, and
stuff.
I mean, how do you expect to go as walk So one way or the other, we need education, but also we need to be protected.
And we must also check what are the regulations in terms of food in South Africa, food supply in South Africa. Are we protected in terms of the consumers? Are we protected by those rules and regulations? Who has a right to actually manufacture food in South Africa? Because if we knew in terms of food production, who has a right to produce food, would have less of these issues. Because right now, if you let us sit, you can do your own and brand and sell. So we also need to look into that, because the rules and regulations of who has a right to supply, what is it that you need to be able to supply, also plays a factor on how do we get here. Because anything can be mixed right now. And it's not a new thing. Yes, my friend, because of Bonabas manufacturer. We have seen videos.
Actually, the fake
over years.
Yeah, the
fakeness of
the original,
the duplicates of the things that we actually consume, that they are now making themselves. You iba affect her, right? Bona iba affect her, but you will find that the fault is not only from their side. You go, let's go back to the manufacturer.
Because now, remember how you go a reputable store. At a reputable store, you'll find maybe 20 rand. And 15 rand. And you wonder why 15 rand. And then but it's cheap.
What are they manufacturing it back though? What are they manufacturing it back though?
Wow. So 2 minutes before 11 o'clock, and we are hopping into a second topic. We need to cover it. However, Dabamu, my friend, please note, you can still send us your voice notes on 081-578-6483. You can also send us your comments. We are currently live on ANC Joburg page on YouTube, ANC Joburg official, and then on Facebook, ANC Joburg. Please make sure that you follow us on all the social media platforms. Nehemiah did say earlier on, we are 9012 online radio on all social media platforms, and we are still having Cde Sebenzile Mkhonto, a powerful first topic, and we are getting into the second one. Does like the ANC Youth League Provincial Conference. I saw a lot of young people, spice.
Say the best for the last.
Yeah, let's say the best. Yeah. Does the youth still uphold traditional, cultural, and religious beliefs and practices? We are just allowing Sebe to go out just for a few minutes, and then Rona will continue discussing this topic, and then she will join us just a little bit later.
Just a minute.
Nehemiah, there's a girl, there's a boy, there's this, there's that. Yeah, skia sakhi iloku yakiwa ngo 5 for a girl child. Like there's a lot of things that were meant for girls, there were things that were meant for boys. Do you still live by those rules?
Yes, I'm a traditionalist by heart and by ideas, by ideologies that we must in order for us to uphold our cultures, we must stick to them and put them into practice. Because at most, as well as the Lama culture, and some of the problems we are going to have in the future, or the generation will not know what to do, when, and how, because we've let go of those cultures. We've made an example of China. In China, they know rules, and other countries in Africa, they know rules. And those rules are because they are rooted in their cultures. You can't go to China and give them a new culture for them to follow. You can't go to Botswana and give them a new culture to follow. But in South Africa, you can introduce a new culture as time goes on.
And people adapt to it.
We follow trends too much as Africans, let me say that. And we end up forgetting where we come from and how we are going to do things. But in the olden days, our ancestors used to make sure in festive times, like Good Friday, Christmas, or something, they knew what to do. We are living in a world of frequencies. Spirit science, it's been there since. That's why it's Kona Ugnisa Imvula as Africans. It's there, it's been taken into science. I can believe it. Last time we had a topic about the weather and the climate change as well. It's because now science has learned how people used to do those things by frequency. I could do a sound with my tongue and make rain to fall. I can do a sound with my tongue and I can have maybe luck in terms of wealth, inkomo, imbuzi, stock. So we've let go of our color in a way that aside why do we have to dye our hair when we know our hair is black? What is there in that blackness? Do we know what is there in that blackness? Do we know why our skin pigmentation is like this? Do we know what's in that skin pigmentation? So we need to relearn in order for us to instill this culture of blackness and be black assertive.
There was a time where and now we are having so many mamfundises. Gugu, your opinion on this one?
No, I think we all agree. I mean, let me say Mataku.
Yeah.
Because for me, sometimes that's why we have conspiracy theories that is our power being stripped off? Is this a neo-apartheid or neo some form of taking us from our essence? I think sometimes as Africans, we are so obsessed with advancing civilization that we ourselves are taking it away. It's us, the communities, that say, how? We don't understand what it means to hear animals still be alive, the last cries of an animal. There's a process we do. It hails and we speak to the animal. That this is why we are slaughtering you. That is why other cultures like the Muslims, they ask, is it halal or not? Tina, you just eat anywhere you go. You go to any funeral, you don't understand what happened, what's the cause of the funeral. That's why I don't attend certain things. We are so caught up in taking pictures, posting that I went somewhere this weekend. And it's not me. So it's not intentional. That's the first thing, especially the generation that we have. Our 2000s, they're not, they are under us, they are watching us. We must not be scared to advance. But in terms of our cultural practices, some things is this. Same thing like when a woman is now in the pulpit, it doesn't mean that you are now powerful over the men. That's why in the theory of feminism, there's so much butting of heads. Because you want to empower yourselves, like I'm saying, we want to advance as women. But we must be careful that some things traditionally can be done by men only, can be done by women only. That is why we are where we are today. We are changing rules and rights every day because we want to advance so much, we want to fight so much, and even the liberation when you speak to politics. If you read the history, we have many males the voting turnout. If you look at the revolution of back then, we were shutting down. It was done. But now we are so caught up in I need to be a leader first before I advance my people. You see, so traditions have died. We need something first before we advance our interests or become anything. So I do believe that we need to just go back to the spirit of who was next door. Tell you who to but now we have to call a meeting, you must be a meeting first to give you food. We advance sometimes in a very, very out of touch. And that is why we are studying. First topic, Waka, the snacks, some of my friends. When did that? That's also another tradition that we have to look at. Our children went to school, but we have advanced that now our kids are going to what? The urban areas. Near break time, there's a McDonald's here. And that's also obesity, something we don't want to talk about. Okay, we are here to talk about the poisonous food, but we're not going to talk about obesity. We don't want to talk about what's this one? Sugar, diabetes. It's one of the biggest problems that we're having today. Cancer. We're dying out here. We don't know those things. No, because we have advanced. I get white media and these big conglomerates, these big white companies. They have to romanticize the plague. They must make the platinum hair look nice. They must put the Kim Kardashian with gray hair. So you go and change your hair, turn it gray, not realizing you are taking something away from yourself as an African. You see?
Yeah, this is quite a very touchy and a very strong topic. Debate because I purely believe she hypnotized. Absolutely. We are not ourselves. See, hypnotized. There's a country called Northern Korea. People in Northern Korea don't have access to the internet. Don't have access. They don't even know Facebook. They don't even know about people. And if you get a glimpse of North Korea through people who travel and they get access to the country, you're not allowed to have a phone, but there are parts where they allow you to take videos. How the whole entire country stick to what it's called roots and cultures and traditions in their country is so beautiful. As much as other countries will perceive it as abuse and toxic, kule country umuntu osifazana agqoke ibhruku ngeke uhlangane naye by any mistake. Yes. Angeke uhlangane naye agqoke ibhruku because of futhi abayiboni kuyinto wrong leyo. Abalazi ibhruku because babone emadodeni ibhruku. It's because social media is not there to hypnotize. Thina sesikhohliwe ukuthi sabubani because of we live in the trends. Yeah. We are living so much in the trends. Ushinto ebaluleke kahle. Ukuhlaba. Guys, besingahlabela ukudla inyama. Inyama yomsebenzi ayidli abantu bangaphandle. Manje ngithi kunomsebenzi, why are you inviting me? Inyama amadlozi ngiyoyenza inyama amadlozi wakini. No, you can come. No. Thina sikhule sazi ukuthi makunomsebenzi kuzohlatshwa. Akufani futhi ukuhlaba. Khona inyama eniyenzayo just for people, whatever reason. Ikhona le enzoyihlaba nayo ngeke iziphume endlini. Inesizathu. lekuthiwa namathambo akhona kumele agujelwe ashiswe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now mawuzobiza abantu abangaphandle bazodla. Nyadla khuluma laphana estradeni ngiyolahle estradeni. Right? You understand? So as the current generation do not even understand the reason why kuthiwa kuyahlaba gqoka iphandla kwenza they don't even care about those things. We're happy to be trending on issues.
I was shocked to see the kind of the unveiling September or December.
Yes. Remember, we also had time zones for things. Yes. We also had time zones
even
for
our
things.
calendar.
We have makuyi winter isikhathi sokwenza lokhu, makuyi summer isikhathi sokwenza lokhu. Right now, if ungabheka the rate of divorce that we're currently facing.
Yeah.
If I could tell you, it has everything to do with tradition more than it has everything to do with our behavior as couples. Because of why? Ulotsholiwe wena, ne? Ukulobola, it was not about the amount. It was about the traditions. Lando eperformwayo in secret between families.
Yeah.
It did not want monetary value stuff. Bekufuneka le yankomo nale yambuzi nale umakoti ongeniswayo ahlatshwa athelwe ngenyongo kuthweni kukhulunywe edlozini kuthweni. Then uthathwe kanjalo the same nomkhwenyana so that the two families are integrated. And go and celebrate. The celebration had nothing to do with how you are dressed. When I saw right now, Chomi, once umfana wathi ngiyakuthanda next week siso home affairs sesishadile one now cohabiting one living together, life is good, right? And families are happy. Kuthiwa uyalotsholwa ifamily yakhe ifika ithi ifuna 100,000. They are happy they've received 100,000. Ayibikwanga edlozini. Ayithela nyongo. Kwawena awuyenza ikhaya ukuthi uhamba uhlala bosipho. When uSipho nilwa it dust every day. It's because lakho alikwazi ukuthi hlezi unenkani ungayazi ukuthi yani. But ngibonge nayo yonke lento le. And then you will then come to me. Uthi yazi Chomi mina I'll problematize. But no, it's because of his behavior. No, amadlozi wakhe awakwazi. That's why we have you understand? Because of ulahlekile wena. Ngaleso sikhathi uyazala. Zala abantwana abangabikwa ngedlozi. Kile wena yonke into it was trends. It was you having to misa kumnandi, ne? And then few years down the line, you decide, no, I can't do this thing. I want to go home. We are buya. Ubuyile, it's not a problem. We are shata foot. You see? That's why the buhleze get divorced, and then I call mushata. Washata ngendlela right. You got what to a mushata. Washata wabigwe dlozini wakhishwe ekhaya umthetho. Angeke usaphinde ushata.
Yeah, because you can't go back to you can't go back to konje
noma ungabuya emshadweni because vele ikhona babekela ukuthi ubuye uzobuya uhlale nje musu uzohamba uye kulo mzoya ku bahlale bazi ukuthi uzozihambela nje but angeke usabikwa edlozini mthweni uyahamba uhanjisiwe wena wayiswa kulo yamuzi.
Hence there's a key stand in this and in this and in this and you are going
to understand normally mawuthiwa ubuyile emendweni bobuya egqekeni ube nomzwa ube nendlu yakho la ekhoneni uyazi ukuthi uyibuya angeke usaphinde uhambe bekuyisiko lelo ne right now sisayifollow and asibheki where we are actually the current behaviors of even our kids. Umntana ona 16 athi have anxiety yantoni wena ngoba kumele bakuhlabelele imbuzi bakugeze kini bakubike you have anxiety. That's why we have kids at a very young tender age. They're depressed.
They kill themselves.
Yeah. When I hear voices. No. Your ancestors are speaking to you, but because of you are so in tune with trends, good to you anxiety. We are cool. But if you can go back to traditions and culture, she's in purple. Allow the people who are speaking in your head to speak. Hear them what they say. You will actually find out that no, more.
Sometimes I think somehow when religion came in, we used to do our own things, right?
Yes.
And then now
they
will tell you today, siyalobol, right? But ahlabi. So why are you doing? It's like nina double standards.
Yeah, understand.
You want the benefit of money into this thing, but you don't want to do the work for that thing. You'll find that uklobola siyalobol and the back charge 80,000. We keep a boom. And then on that 80,000, they don't even know kule 80,000. Remember the minute linyala, there's this thing kule 80,000 kuzophuma engaka eyani since I get no the but no, religion is contradicting traditions and culture, and then you find basa gqokisa izinto ze skin face, but they asihlabi asiphahli asiki because imali beyibekwa vele emsamo ukuthi iphakelwa until a certain time, and then manje niyalobola namhlanje kusasa kungena abafana nebhamu.
Yeah, understand that imali sekulotsholwa ngemali.
Yeah, like that are, for me, I feel ukuthi one or the other culture was diluted by religion, and the minute religion came in, diluted yonke into, and now culture is more like a foreign thing to our 2000.
And then you see how religion and culture clashed. It also dealt with morals.
Yeah,
our kids don't have morals. You'll see our generation, because of, remember these kids that were now currently calling them the 2000 problematic ones.
Yeah.
Those are our kids. You'll find a person in my age who sits there comfortably saying, no, you know, I'm a 2000, they are fixing the country. Tina sikule ne child trauma, yomzali, otimageza from a bus stop, uzokijima, uyogeza izitsha. This current generation, mind ukuthi ungene endlini aqinanga gezwana. Why did you do that? They talk back, right? And you're finding me as a generation that comes from that thing. Yokuthi umama makayehle bus stop. Ngiyazi ukuthi ngo4 makayehla. Ngo 4:30 uzobe sekasendlini. If bengagezanga izijamele makangena athole sekliniwe. Not because but the culture, how we were brought up. We knew ukuthi umama kabuye emsebenzini makangena nimenzela itiye kuhlabe phansi, where even if when we're catching up, everybody is here. Now these kids wonke umuntu akanandaba na anything, and they are happy that when we respond as a child, you find women in my age are happy with the fact that a 16-year-old is responding to their mother. And I'm like, thina sikhule kuthiwa umzali umama akasipho umama wethu sonke lesonto.
Yeah.
Makangena umama kasi mawazi ukuthi you are doing wrong. Immediately makangena ngestrategy hlalwa namhlanje ngizoshaya. Because makafika endlini abeka isikhwama uzawuya kumama akayomazisa ukuthi ngifike ngamthola amestradeni nabafana zizakhalela. But our current kids currently right now, including us thina abazali bakhona, mina ngiba happy ngokuthi umntwana kazodwa uyadelela uphendula uzodwa. And I'm comfortable saying she's fixing this generation. Tina sikhule ngechild trauma. No. You are not teaching your kids morals. You are not teaching your kids the value of being a child. You must understand. I grew up with strict parents. As much as I remain a strict parent, my kids, I want to believe they are the most happiest kids you can ever ask. But when I enter the house, there won't be tension that I'm back. Also, we will want to try to explain being somebody homework. I wouldn't even have to make noise about it because of the rules in the house remain. But don't make me enforce it, because me enforce that thing which is wash, right? How I want you to continue to have the same morals that I had, but I don't want them to be enforced to you because it traumatized me. I don't want to have the same trauma, but I want you to continue with the most important thing, the life values of respecting other people, understanding and appreciating. One thing that I can assure you even in my sleep is that I can leave you with my kids. The only thing that you might struggle with is their demand of liking things in general. Mama was for this, your studies and it's fine. But in terms of discipline, I am comfortable even when I leave to my grave. I know very well that they are very well disciplined. Because that's how I was brought up. But because how at a particular time things were lost. They were brought up in that environment of apartheid. Everything was enforced. Now, because I want to uphold the same values of respecting people, continue to instill discipline in your child, but not in a forceful manner. Now, when things are not thinking in my house, I have a 16-year-old who's currently writing grade 10. She normally suffers from headaches. I always tell her, wake up and pray. But more tandas, letting people, ivute, tell Smith, so that you are in tune with everything. When you feel like everything is falling apart, there's nothing wrong with you. It's a culture, that thing. Now kids, they stress like this. Where do you enter? What is the story? Yeah, understand. Like, and culture not yithi manje. Le nkinga esinayo ukuthi ama culture values. Those kids esikhuluma ngabantwana bethu. Umntwana owangu-2000 uzalwe yini? Mina ngiyazazi ukuthi ngikhuliswe kanjani. Njengoba ngikutshela ukuthi mina I was brought up by two different people. My mom was very religious. She believed that God can fix everything. She believed in prayer. And there was my dad who believes ukuthi thatha nedlozi mntanami yemsamo umsamo will make it work. And I had to balance the two.
Yeah.
When things are not coming together and I want my father to fix them, I knew ukuthi jonga kuzawushiswa impepho ukhulunywe nedlozi uthelwe isinefu kuthethwe. But there were times whereby I felt like yabone ifune ngathi kungabiza uNkulunkulu ke manje. And it was easy for me to go to my mom and say, Jonga sana, I'm going through the most. And she would say, let's pray about it. And I did not see a problem between balancing the religion and the culture at the same time. That's why even when I got married, my parents were separated. They were no longer together for over years. But I told them separately that when Manzolo Jolo, the two of you are going to come together. Because I want to be sent off from my house, from my home, where my grandmother is going to do the rightly duties of sending me off to that family. Ukuthi mina nizwani angifuni kusasa izinto zami mase zingahlangani. Kuthiwe indlela engaphuma ngayo ekhaya yiyo eyenza ukuthi kuhlangahlangane manje. Right? But the problem now Queen thina abethu abantwana. A 16-year-old is somebody next door ozongitshela ukuthi I like Sipho. And I'm sitting with this child. Angimfundisa ukubaluleka kokuthi athi umngani wami uthe umngani wami ngoJune wathi umngani wami uyaphuma kuthiwa yilento yamachichi bamenzela umsebenzi. Okay, it's fine, I'll take you there. Wabuya wathi kubo kwenza umsebenzi ka Chomi asi attend imisebenzi yamadlozi. Not because asithanda abantu. Makuhlatshwa ungazi usifundisa ukungani. Makuhlatshwa le yambuzi lesasilwane siyakhulunyelwa. Sikhulunyelwa izinto ekumele ukuthi sizifeze emndenini. Wena maso uya lapha uyodla lenyama. Kusasa uzobona izinto zakho imane iphithizela nje. Kanti wadla inyama ekhulunyelwa. It's very important to then teach your own, because lama 2000 esikhala ngawo abantwana bethu. Yithi thina esingawathathi lama teachings esikhule nawo siwa transfer because of sithini umntwana ukwazi ukuthi athi you were not affected by apartheid, you were not there. Why telling me about apartheid? Now you're not teaching your kids the background of how am I still here holding it down as a comrade and saying ukuthi you are still not free to walk around, but you are not free because of the systems that we face from the apartheid. You can't have a 16-year-old child who tells you that no, but you can't keep forcing me to vote. The importance of voting. You should one day I should bring my kids into the studio. I have a 13-year-old very curious about everything. Currently, right now, I'll tell you in Mozambique, there's a strike. People in Mozambique are not happy with what is currently. It's because when we are in the house, that's the debates that we surround, right? Yeah, the current affairs. We have topics. Everybody has their own liking, right? But because of I want to know you, you want to know me, you are your own character, but the importance of also balancing. So that when you go out of life, you have to blend with the queen to say, okay, fine. They would normally ask me, Mama, why would I be ANC? And I will continuously explain why, right? I will continuously explain that life in general, leave ANC, life in general is about politics. You go to church, there are politics of church. Whether you go to groove, there are politics at grooves. Where we know the culture of grooves, the certain clubs you don't enter if you're not skinny. Those are politics of their own days. They are politics of church. When you enter a church, when you enter into deep roots of churches, there are politics in church. Yeah. I prefer the politics of the country in general, Mina, as a Sebenzile. And I always to make them understand why. Now, Tina, labantwana abangasenawo ama-values, abangasenawo ama-religions, abangasenawo culture, they are living their lives. Dance phezu kwamatafula, they are happy, and we are not seeing the problem. We say we've evolved. Life is now in the 20th century. There's everything is happening. You are not looking in. We have asked this question: who is going to be a succession in their generation to be a president?
Yeah, because I mean, it's shocking that you find a child in primary.
Yes.
Yes. How he's tasted. Maybe uzame castle light, and you would
ask yourself, Njani,
like, how did we get there?
These kids, they even know foreign brands of alcohol. 10 years. Like, where do you know from? Where did you hear about that? It's also because of us. As society, it's culture. So we sit around these youngings or abantu aged and hear all kinds of topics. And we have to inform them about other things. We have to educate them about other things. But there's a manner in which we have to educate them in. Angeke ngihlezi imugugu sibwanga or sekaya and the species which kind of alcohol, about sexual intercourse in a bad manner. We are in a way causing the problem. We must be willing to have a conversation with the younger ones from our age, teenagers and those ones who are in primary as well. We can speak about a whole lot of topics and current affairs without teaching them any other thing as of a keeper endleleni, which is going to lead them astray.
I think we are also having a generation of informed adults, our age, that had children at an age, and then now and then we can't parent. Now we are suffering from our own
we don't know
parenthood and
friendship.
Yeah.
We also don't want to know we also you as a parent don't want to look like a bad person to your child.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
That's why Tina has created a problem because of when Umamam was easy for me to talk about everything, right? Because she created an environment, but she was a parent. I would not generally say things, but I would know some stuff and then talk to my mother. We even literally talk about boyfriends with our kids. You tell your kids your boyfriend issues, you vent to your child. How do you expect that child to behave afterwards?
Uyayibona.
Thina sihlale ezindlini kuma-forum esowethu. Umama besimbona nje isisu sesikhulu sekamntwana. We never hear a sound of intercourse here. But currently right now,
it's even on social media.
Kids at a very young age, they know how sexual course is conducted. The way people are conducting themselves. And we are busy pushing the narrative our kids are allowed to see us loving each other so that they grow up understanding the importance of love. We grew up knowing that there is importance of love because we knew that my father loves my mother. We sit together. We have never seen That's why manje umntana na 12 year meter. Because of we are curious.
Hence, most of the parents now are a generation yarina. And generation yarina like Resalidi groove is still rona, but so the father who Satan anahanabo these other establishments. Limewa ona lena over baby mama and the baby daddy are still grieving. And the child sometimes like either and the parent. I mean, there was a time where generation Mebaruna, we were raised by the grannies because our mothers used to go and work. There was a balance because Aboko shy and Mama understood. So now Rina, our mothers either Seba Cartel or Seba passed, or now the rules that also are you get to prison. Because there's a child assault because child one. And how do you enter my house at 11 o'clock and I only go to the police station, I get arrested. And it's clear. And the mother had to be sat down and told Guti, you must understand. I remember when I was watching it on when they were outlining it, and then this lady says, "You beat up a child, you will face the consequences of being a child for assault." And I thought it's a joke. Like I didn't take it serious until I saw a mother currently being tried for assaulting a teenage girl, a 13-year-old, by the way, organing at 11 o'clock.
Not till we are overcompensating our kids, ne? And we're not paying attention to the fact that this overcompensation that we're doing to our kids, it's actually ruining them. Because of, if you can check the parenting style that we have currently, you know, they can implement all these Bella bills and stuff like that. And I want Lindy to grow up as a disciplined child, well behaved, and also have good morals to be able to be a leader, to be able to go to work. To have morals. Because any dressing idea, we're happy with the fact that our kids have rights, kids are smart, kids have access to phones. You are not looking into what are you building. You are not going to be forever. Right? Lumntwana lona at some stage kumele akhule ahambe aye estradeni ayosebenza ahlangane noQueen ukhule ukhulele estradeni uyafika okwakho umntwana because of yonke into kuye beku oh my gosh, please don't be like that, oh my gosh, yonke into beku oh my gosh umntwana seka sestradeni yiko babuya bazokutshela ukuthi yo, there are toxic people that they're working with. Whether the reason why you are finding people at your workplace being toxic is because of you are here for friendships. I get to oh my gosh, please don't. No. Teach your child, but there is life outside. A hard. And the hardship does not mean awumthandi umntwana. Mfundisi kuba independent. Mfundisi understand ama values. I was a leader of Isonto, Assemblies of God. As much as I hardly visit church nowadays, and my 13-year-old, the way I and I always tell her, once you identify the church you like, you can go to church. I don't have a problem. I'll drop you off, and you can go to church. But because of the current status in our country, I don't appreciate going to church. Not because I don't believe in God. Because of the practice. When once I'm done, Sunday school, you understand? Accept safe. As a Satan, not because of us phone which by your practice, but a part and parcel of those things, right? But because of if you belong somewhere. My father used to say to my brother, belong somewhere, so that when you're not here, where you belong, people will be able to vouch and speak about you. Relating to a song, if sonkonzo abantu benkonzo bazokhuluma ngawe, if so politics abantu bepolitics bazokhuluma ngawe. Now if you don't teach your kids that belonging to a particular grouping of society, it doesn't mean you must be a rebel, you must be misbehaving, you must be doing all these other things. Belong for that, for a purpose. True. You understand? And if you can go to a young mother, what is your child's most favorite spiritual thing to do? Because of you don't even teach your kids how to relate, whether to God, whether to ancestors. I'm not saying much, but if you can check the way the slaughtering, name cook, why do you white and a black-headed chicken? Why do we do this? We do not care about those things. 609. I behave I was so shocked man but around there while we are there after tears la sisamela. Do you know how to prepare umqombothi in your generation, in your house, in your kids, the ones that you have? Your kids are still
there's the instant one
that they use. Umfundisayo umntana akho ukuthi chomi this is how we prepare umqombothi. Do you know the significance and importance of preparing umqombothi? You understand? Ayisekho leya nto leya asisenawo ama-values of i-religion, asisayivalue i-culture, asisayivalue, asisapractice any of those things. Yiko sidelela njena singelela, and sometimes awudelela uhungukile. Yeah, ufitelezi. That's why every weekend when usemngcwabeni thina sazi ukuthi uma ngabe namhlanje ukade usemngcwabeni, you can't be in a funeral next week because of sasena lesasithunzi noma kungasumngcwabo wakini. Weekend after weekend usemngcwabeni, which is thina sikhule sazi ukuthi ayenzeki, sazi ukuthi makuzi imoto leyo mngcwabo, you kneel down, you allow them to pass. Now it's no longer the same.
Overtake even.
Man. And kungaba i-vibe manje, believe you me. Go back to my question. What are we building in this generation, Tina, as abazali, to their next future? In 2030, in 2050, lo mntana mlona 13 manje, uzoyivelua kanjani i-life? I know ukuthi kumnandi vele by that time kunama robots. But do you think they will still be sane in terms of being able to think? Do they still understand the value of Mabati DJ what hug trees? Do you understand the value of a tree? Do you understand the value of the tree? No. Do you understand the importance of the sun, the water, and the salt? You don't understand. Now you go sibona yonke into kuhaphazedli kuyaphithizela nje asiboni into elungayo uzomana umana ubhizi attackwa ube ubhizi ngine anxiety ngine depression, you're taking a lot of medication mawuthi to understand yini le ekhuphayo naturally you've disconnected. Mara when you go back to and sometimes even if no talking ukumsam hambe entabeni uyokhuluma khona, connecting to your spirits does not want you to have a particular place in your house where we call it indumba and stuff like that. You understand? Tina manje sekuyi-fashion. Kumane kuthiwa thatha le nto. I went home to bury my older sister. Uyabona mose lokishini ngihlangana with your old schoolmates. And I'm like, oh, Bani has grown up. Looks so nice. I was with an old friend of mine and she kept saying, oh my God, what le nto? And I'm like, guys, do you know the danger of those? Do they know the danger of those things? And Tina sithatha kancane Smile City in their social media trend. It's there, but they don't understand the consequences afterwards. Yes. And I call it's not a trend. This is a come back city years and about the No. Mangabe kukuthi ukhule umuntu olandela isiko. Wathola umuntu wakudala uzokutshela ukuthi no, yayikhona lento ethatha lento ephilisayo. Ukuthi bona ebaphilisa ngendlela ezidifferent. Uzokuthi ugogo kaba washona na 100 something years. My other sister died at a very old age, and my grandmother to a point whereby I touched a decision my sister, so that she was now so sick to an extent where and my grandmother was like, no, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. There were things that you could eat and consume for a longer life, for power, for spirits. They don't show you what you'll be able to call rain. You'll be able to was a spiritual person. So I consume. That gave her a longer life and strength in her journey of that thing. But now it prolonged her life even beyond because of she took it. Yeah, and so now Tina, we're taking it for money. We're taking it for money to create money things and military very things. But when they took it for different powers of like me. Powers of they took something. It's not magic that they just decided. It's that they consumed and called upon and performed things for them to have that particular power, right? But they find it as black magic, we are lawyer and all those things and all that. They don't understand. Yeah, they don't understand all those things.
You know, but guys, we can say, we've stretched this topic for but most importantly, we've learned so much and we managed to unpack. It's very taboo currently. That's why everybody these days. Everybody is now tossing, but however, we'll talk about this at some other time. It's 20 minutes before 12. What's the next topic,
off with the other one.
Yeah.
So So I
questionable.
is that the
We have like 20 minutes to wrap up the
I think
whole
you can
show.
wrap up the skills one, right? The
Yeah,
solutions on
Okay,
skills.
let's just highlight 5 minutes
Yeah.
of solutions of
Unemployment and skills
and
development and stuff like that.
what are some of the skills that one can look into maybe currently. For me personally, I feel that our education system is contributing to the problems that unemployment rate and the skills development. Rona in South Africa, we learn skills when we are 18 and above, when we are supposed to learn skills at a tender age, so that by the time we get to it, we already know what my interests are. For an example, you find Ronamo just simple, like that's a simple skill that my child can learn. But however, they can't. Installer.
No, we can.
No trim.
No dream.
Yes, living a dream.
We can. Most South African women, even young girls, can knit hair. Even number 5. The problem is, how can we use the skill to advance ourselves and make money out of that skill? Mafia Malokishin, Amasaluna, our owner it. Our owner Siska Kuku, or Siska Queen, or Uputigan Hemia. No, it's no longer like that. It's township economy is no longer owned by the people who started living in those communities. It's people who come from elsewhere, more especially in foreign countries, Bazalana, and Basoli. It's where they come from. They are here for a better life. And then you find Hori, there's Untanaga Queen Ongana grade 4, Uluga Abochombaki, Marakuba Luga Mahala. When she grows, is she going to grow that skill and learn more about her itself and Oguti Azowaz Azenzele Yena, a hair product? You can go to her being a chemical engineer, making her own hair product, which has avocado, which is from South Africa, and a mango, which is from South Africa, and this crashes mopani worms, because mopani worms has more protein than any other thing that we consume. So we need to teach them from a younger age. Okay, we are a drawer. You can become a very successful artist like Picasso and be remembered for centuries to come. You can be a soccer player and be like who are going to be remembered forever in football. Into politics, engaging in the community in terms of activism, have the community empowering organizations, but you can go to an NGO and a feeding scheme, and then I advance of being a leader in the community. So we have to teach them at a young age. And then how am I going to enhance my skills? I'm a butterfly braids. If maybe Africa, it takes a lot of learning there. That's why in other foreign countries, I remember I was at an NYDA program here, just close to us. They gave us a manual, and the person was facilitating explained Uguti, whatever you are learning there, it's a curriculum in Australia for kids in grade 4. Rona were learning that at a young age on how to run a business. In Australia, they're doing that in grade 4. In China, they're manufacturing iPhones. It's 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds who manufacture iPhones. Apple is from USA, but it's manufactured in China. So we have that problem of saying, no, let's advance the skill. Yes, Ungafunda, the classroom is important. Practically, it must be.
I just feel like our education system is more sexual than this new thing of teaching our children about their sexuality. Our children are taking about women who are homosexuality, have our children skills. I mean, how do we have from something? Like, my friend, because bagile futhi manje bahlakaniphise basigila manje akutshela ukuthi ama-break pads ama-in akushaya imalunga ahlangane kanti no it's not. So what we really at our education system, I believe we need to advocate for our education system so that we change the sex talk, no drama fish, agrom on the board. Till today, I don't know some of the things done in school. What was the purpose of
Dissecting a frog?
Yeah, like why were you teaching me that? Because currently, manje, I'm in the communication space, and all of the things that I was taught in school were useless.
For me,
irrelevant.
I do believe that school should be a place where it teaches you self-conduct. So, going to school should be a form of discipline. But when you are now in school, you must be taught a skill from grade R. From grade R, you must be taught a skill until you exit. But the conduct of having you into school is that thing of teaching you that from 8 until 4, you are focused on doing this. Then for 4 until 5, so that you are into a routine. But anyway, you're going to use your mind. You're going to see for the school currently, right? You are there in varsity, you are studying, whatever it is that you're studying in varsity. It doesn't matter in a workplace.
Waste of 12 years.
Most figure corner, they do their own thing, then they move on in life. So for me, skill development should be something, it should be our whole entire curriculum as a country.
Yeah.
Divide it into whether you want stuff, whether you want technology, whether you want communication or culture, but from a very young age. Because I equal then the schooling. Like the schooling. We wasted the concept of going to school was important so that you know what you are programmed. But you are extend go 5, you prepare and go 8, you're in class, you are focused until 4, we are puma. But that's why we have so many graduates who are hanging around doing nothing.
Smoking drugs.
Yeah. Let me tell you, 95% of nicer jobs that you get from outside the country, they don't care about your degree. They care about your willingness to learn. In this, the reason why I'm carrying my laptop around, if I can convert and bring it to South Africa, here I would be requested an NQF level 8. I would request a 5-year experience. What I'm currently doing right now, I would requested a 5-year experience and a NQF level 8 degree and a reference and what. But if I tell you that the only thing I have is work and everything else that I'm doing now is technology, I was thinking. That's why I always follow some of my posts. I always say, each and every job is teachable. You see so much people who are unemployed because you want experience. Where are able to get experience
if you don't hire them?
And each and every job is teachable. It doesn't matter what kind of a job it is. If you have a person who is the important thing is you know how to read and write and communicate, and you are willing to learn. Then you will be able to learn towards the job. Yes, it's good to have education to back up your story. But for us to curb unemployment in this country, we must do away with excellence in your recruitment drive. Do away with experience. Because now you are going to, not everybody within the space of university gets a chance to go into practicals. Right? Some of them, they will enter, they will not get internships to go into the practical thing. Do away with experience. You are looking for, I was sitting on a board meeting, I was asking, why are you looking for experience for a person who's going to clean? What experience are you looking for?
In Diane's, I work every day.
Like you see, do away with this thing of wanting experience. One says is a teachable job. For our government to be able to curb the unemployment, do away with this thing of experience in your recruitment. Second to that, let's rechange up to CEC generation. Rights of rechanging this curriculum. Now they are bringing us. If I were to speak I remember saying to one comment, age says already. But if we were to go to a normal conference, a lot of people will be so they heist from there. They heist the youth league from there. We went to a conference to appoint because the appointments of issue out appointment letters. So even at the national level, now we come to provinces, right? It was not a honest and fair conference, which is exactly what's going to happen in Gauteng, in my view. If you have to go to a normal conference, you grew up in the youth league. You know exactly how when we say a normal conference, who's are delegates, proper delegates coming from branches where AGMs will literally sit. You will try, even if it's 4 attempts, you will try, but a proper AGM will sit. Where we disputes, we will the leadership. Yo, Matume. Matume was the last time we saw a proper conference. The leadership, Pulema was the last time we saw proper conferencing of Gigaba. Was the proper conferencing. After taking 7 years break in the ANC Youth League, there was no leadership. Coming back, the Youth League. Yeah, it's a high as long as leadership. Even the crop of leaders they are currently producing are actually worrisome. I'm simply making a typical example of a branch is called to sit. There's no quorum, we agree. Let's revent and come back tomorrow again. You wake up in the morning, there's leadership. Now, I looked at some of the pictures of this. Barry Ward 7 has said, congratulations, comrades. When you look at the people who are now perceived to be the quorum of the branch, it's random. Someone given ANC youth league t-shirts to sit, take pictures and say a branch has set, right? Now we move. And remember at some point in our previous attempt to sit, we disputed about Botswana doing the same thing, where the same group of people will just go in different branches, different t-shirts, take pictures and say an AGM has set. They are going to heist it. Maybe they know who's going to lead. It's not a fair conference. We're just going there for the vibes. Mara, if we were to be quite honest, and let's go to a proper conference where AGMs are sitting. You know, a conference of the ANC can rerun a branch 20 times. Right? Yeah. If with the youth league, we are going to come up with the best leadership. But because they know you're the best, they are going to suppress you. You will sleep and wake up and your branch has leadership because they don't want you to be a delegate. Because they don't want you to be in the conference.
What does it seem like we are prophesying?
No. I know. You chose the wrong topic for me. You should have
conference until it sits. Yeah. And then when they come back, they will come and tell us, Sizoba congratulate her. You know,
exams ending. Because one of the we were debating about this. Where the kids were sober, and this process is not handled by your Mahrotman ancestors to say who you were not going to be elected by young people of Gauteng willingly. And I then asked that question, are you sure this conference this time around is going to sit? He boldly responded, and if it happens that young people are writing their matric results, we can't force it to this conference. Now, the likelihood of having it postponed are very high. Now, at December, you will be told, no, kids have gone home for holidays. Remember, the constituency of the youth league is also as well.
Yeah.
So that excuse can also come. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm just giving you a glimpse. But to be quite honest with you, I have accepted Nina. I've graduated in the youth league. I've led peacefully. I'm fine. I'm happy. And I'm genuinely happy that I'm not going to be part of this of hiding young people. Yeah.
And you won't be part of Umshika because Umshika
no Umshika heista abantu. It's alarming. They will come for me all they want, but
they always come
for me. I can tell them,
yeah.
If it was not for an appointment, comrades, some of you will never lead in an elected conference.
Yeah.
We all know there are those that you are going to tell them that if it was not for this appointment, that's the appointment. We are questionable. There are who are leading. And not only in the youth league, Generally, if it were not for appointments, there are comrades in the ANC who are going to be elected by conference, not because of because of they don't aspire confidence. They believe that we can elect you to us. They also don't represent interest of people in general. They represent their own jackets.
Yeah.
So now, because of these appointments and favors and who sits where and who's your front man and who's handling things for you, you will lead in these appointments, right? We can put it to test and say, I'm a front man, no one must detect terms of who must lead.
Yeah.
And take Gauteng to an honest, a raw, proper conference. Who will come back leading Gauteng? Elected by delegates of a conference. Not elected by a meeting somewhere in a boardroom and come back and perform. But no, I want to pack it and say good luck, comrades.
Anyway, 2 minutes after 12 o'clock, Nehemiah, your last words?
My branch is sitting tomorrow. If they postpone it, I'll make sure I'm learning how to deploy if I am here, I'm in Faganyana.
Nehemiah is the show.
Yeah.
So,
It's what 95. Squeezing.
Plus Nehemiah o apere jacket ya utliki katiba ya conference mode is unlocked. Gugu, your last words?
I am not sitting anytime soon.
Don't it's our you have delegates in your
No, I have delegates. I'm also graduating. This is my final year. So my comrades are very kind enough to say, listen, however, I do agree 100% to say that we are not ready. Logistics-wise, the way things are going, the recruitment that we have done, it's all haphazard. People don't even know what they are doing. Fetching someone Saturday, telling them Tuesday, when you see me raise my hand, that should tell you that there's something wrong.
Yes.
So I do believe that we are not ready, and we must ask ourselves, not even ask ourselves, I reiterate our words. Context, intent is the master. Why are we rushing to sit? If the constituency of the youth league, all of them right now, if you were to ask them, slate says is what it says approved. The congratulation slate, chairperson of the province. What is the function of? If you ask 99.9% of new recruits, they won't answer you. Therefore, I'm saying we are not ready. However, I'm a crotman akulumile. Something mazwa.
So if I'm squeezing,
yes, you when I turn around 18. When I turn around,
I'll take you pictures.
Yeah, but yeah,
By virtue of employment.
I can ask you to come and protect me.
Anyway, so much for tuning in. No. Mina, what I'm saying is, Mina AMET. I postpone yonke lento le. Sis chileleni kancane and get proper leaders. But however, unfortunately,
your silence was very loud.
No. Mina, if I can.
The mastermind of this
No.
heist isn't